we can often relate to like a physical health issue, as you know, it's more tangible. Someone can see if there's been an injury and then see how it impacts their performance. And then, you know, as humans, we can be like, oh, that makes sense, right? And I think that the hard part with, say, something that someone's going through with mental health issues is that it's not as tangible. I think being able to see that people that are looked at as basically invincible, right? People that are like Simone Biles as like the best. I mean, she has her own move. It's called the Biles, right? So like to have that much ability and skill, and then we get to watch that and see that as like this outcome, and they can get all this praise or all this reward, and rightfully so, for what they're able to do and the work they put in for something, again, going back to the intangibility of it, that you can't see like what might be impacting them. Being able to speak about it is the only way that we can then understand why a person's going through that. If your team has a culture that allows for that to be something that's brought up without adding a bunch of the stigma or stating that there's like weakness or things like that, then I think that's different. You're going to be able to have more opportunities to talk about and work through things like mental health. And if it's looked at as like weakness, or looked at as that you're lazy or not trying hard enough. I think some of the things, one in particular would be recovery. It's like we often put a lot of energy into our sport, and that's great. We want to be able to improve, we want to be the best that we can, and try to keep achieving the levels that our goals are set for. But if we don't also invest in recovery, where we're filling ourselves back up, then it makes us more vulnerable to things like having a mental illness. Because if we're only looking at our outcome with our sport as information of whether we're okay, then it really limits our options as to like how healthy we'll feel mentally. And so I think making sure we have recovery in the sense of whether there's like hobbies that we enjoy, spirituality, it could be things like friends, family, you know, ways that we can improve our thinking and our own interpretation of what we're doing and how what we're doing is fitting within what we want for ourselves, ways that we can grow. Recovery that allows us to be able to just take a breath and not feel like we have to always be in that performance space, because that's exhausting. And it's fun, but it's also exhausting. And so making sure that we have a healthy amount of that is important. But just like how if we try something that may not be healthy for us, like with our knee, of not getting that fixed, same thing if we don't find, whether it's therapy or medication or both, to be able to get more support, just like we would have knee surgery. That way we can identify where the issues are coming from, be able to get some coping skills, heal from that, and then move forward and still do our sport or still do life, right? So I think that's, when you're noticing that, then not just trying to gut it out, because I think that can be like sometimes the physical way that, you know, we can try to do when we have like an ankle tweak, and I hear that, right? But this is different when it gets to like an ACL tear, and sometimes we can try to do that thinking that our mental health is just an ankle tweak, when really it's bigger than that.